Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Endgame Recap, the only weekly video game news recap show delivered to you by a ginger with a Dota 2 tattoo on his hand. And yeah, I'm proud of that. I wear my Vegas stories with pride. Every Friday at 3 a.m., that's the morning, 3 a.m. PST, I'm hand delivering to you via the internet the good, the bad, and the weird of what's happened in games the last week. So why should you care? Because I've worked in gaming for about 18 years or so. I've launched some things. I've seen some things, was a part of some things, and clearly my opinion is better than anyone else's. Doesn't really kind of seem that way all the time. You're watching a streamer and they say, oh, I worked for a month at Blizzard. I have the inside scoop on everything, right? No, I wanted to do this for a long time. I've done it professionally for some companies. I've been a guest on many podcasts, and I thought, why don't I do it on my own? And my wife said, you should be investing in yourself. I really think she was implying that I should do a podcast, so I stopped talking to her so much about games and overwhelming her. She's not overwhelmed, but she just has that look on her face, that little twinkle, you know what I mean? So here we are. You are going to be my therapist. I'm sitting in my chair, but I should really be laying in a couch while I do this. Anyway, really thank you for listening so much. I appreciate every like, comment, and share that I might get. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge, please. And you know what? If you're listening to this, that's probably because you went back, because this podcast later on has been so successful that so many of you have wondered, how did it start? And how was it this bad? So this is a piece of history in the making here that you are now listening to. Anyway, let's go into the news. So I haven't really perfected any of this yet. I don't have a process. I'm just going to kind of wing it as we go along. I have a slew of news articles I picked out. You're going to hear me clicking on my mouse, hitting the keyboard, all that stuff. But hopefully it's more ASMR. I can whisper to you if you want. If this is how you want your gaming news to be delivered to you, I can certainly do that. Maybe we'll get a Patreon for it. Anyway, let's jump right into it, shall we? Number one on the list of things that we want to talk about, it says Microsoft was the top video game publisher last month. This is at Game Rant, and it says Microsoft was the world-leading video game publisher in December 2024, while hardware from Nintendo and PlayStation has taken up a lot of headline space over the past few months. Can't talk. Xbox and its parent company have surged ahead in terms of software. The latest sales figures show that Microsoft's strategy of acquiring studios and putting games out across platforms has paid off in a big way. In the last fiscal blah, 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 blah. It says, according to a report from analyst firm Ampere, as reported by VGC, Microsoft Games generated $465 million in December 2024, almost $100 million more than second-place publisher EA. Most of that revenue is thanks to the company's Activision Blizzard acquisition. It said Call of Duty surpassed 500 million copies sold in 2024, and yeah, that's about it. It says Call of Duty helped Microsoft Games draw nearly $500 million in December. So, they paid a lot of money for that. It's paying off for them. Interesting, though. I just saw today, too, a news item come out that said Forza is now going to be on PlayStation. So that was usually one of the marquee. You had to get a console to play games, but now it's going multi-platform. And small story on that one, my dad has been playing it a lot, and my mom, and they are suddenly huge gamers. So shout out to steering wheels being the best thing for non-gamers or something. I don't know. Here's one. It says, this is kind of sad and kind of scary, but it says call for age restrictions on video game loot boxes. It's at the BBC. Under a picture, it says young men most at risk from gambling. It says, more regulation is needed to limit gambling-like practices in video games. Researchers have warned. A new study into the harmful risks of gambling on young people found loot boxes blurred the line between gaming and gambling. So it goes on to Dr. Wang, senior lecturer in psychology, said loot boxes were not officially classified as gambling in the UK. She said they are often used in video games aimed at young people, allowing players to pay for random prizes like in-game items and progress in the game. But they can blur the line between playing and gambling because players spend money without knowing what they will receive, which can lead to impulsive spending and addiction. Look, clearly it's gambling, right? Very clearly. You don't know what you're going to get. Let's not split any hairs here. It's been gambling for a long time, and we need to protect people, right? So if a big esports company is suddenly getting closer to betting companies and any type of gambling, one would hope that they would be very cognizant as its negative effect on their audience, right? Stumbling over my words because pointing the finger at some people right now. I can't say who. Do I say who? No, it's more fun if I don't. Let's not say it this time. Another bit of news I have was that Game Pass is surging. Here, I'll read it. I wasn't going to do it. I took it out. I crossed it out on my list, and now I'm coming back to it. It says, Game Pass set a new quarterly record for revenue and grew its PC subscriber base by over 30% as we focus on driving fully paid subscribers across endpoints. There you go. There's your news. It's getting bigger among PC people too. And a lot of people said that wasn't going to happen. Where is this one? All right, we got some other ones. We got, so we're going to a new section of the podcast now. We got some more news we're going to talk about. This is also news, but this one's kind of branded, so I kind of wanted to encapsulate it. This one's called, How Do You Keep People Interested in Games in the Era of Live Service Gaming? Oh. Okay, well, Street Fighter 6, they're having a big update, everybody. Just freak out, okay? Freak out because it's earned. Street Fighter 6 is coming out with a big update. It's getting exclamation points. In articles, it says Street Fighter 6 May update adds new ranks and rewards for reaching high ranks, including special colors and more. Oh, Jesus. Slow down. Like, I don't know. Not to make light of it, it's one of my favorite games of the last couple of years. It's just, how do you keep the lights on? You know, if you don't make a game that is constantly churning out content these days, you're kind of dead in the water. So, and Capcom isn't exactly famous for keeping people busy with that type of stuff. But what do you do, right? So, yep, getting lots of stuff for Street Fighter. I'm not going to play it, but some people might like that. All right, so what are other games doing, Kyle? Well, Gran Turismo 7, this one says, online time trial off the chain. Oh, geez, settle down. It says a brand new Gran Turismo 7 online time trial is now available featuring one of the new vehicles added in today's 1.55 game update. The much anticipated, I don't play the game, I don't know what I'm talking about. It says, as we think you can guess. All right, I don't know where I was. I'm having some recording problems here on Pro Tools on my machine. We won't run into this again. I got a lot to do. Clearly, I did not do my homework properly. And, you know, I'm a trained Pro Tools guy. This is what I went to school for, and here I am struggling. I've never done it on my personal computer. I've always done it on my work one. Maybe we'll have to move to that. Anyway, thank you for your patience, everyone, through episode 1. Anyway, go back to this thing about Gran Turismo. I don't know. It says, as we think you can guess from the image above, that'll be the Gran Turismo F3500-A, a fictional car inspired by F1 cars from the early 1990s when the screams of a variety of 3.5-liter engines filled the stands of 16 Grand Prix every year. It'll be the first chance to use a machine in a competitive environment as you try to set the fastest time you can at the Temple of Speed, Monza. This high-speed track is an ideal place to stretch the legs of the 15,000 RPM V12 behind you, with the car reaching well over 200 miles per hour at times. Cool. You're really selling me on, I don't know, that's probably, enthusiasts probably like that stuff, right? Again, if you're creating a live service game or trying to get those legs, you gotta get people excited. That guy seems excited. We're gonna continue this one on a little bit more. It says, Black Ops 6 Zombies, the Tomb Easter Egg Song Guide, headphone locations. Oh, Jesus. In this guide, we'll help you find all 3 headphone locations for the Tomb Easter egg song. I don't know. I kind of read a little bit of this one, and I just figured it was like something new to the game. It might not be. I don't know. I don't play it really. I worked on some Call of Duties, but I don't really play it, so maybe that's the wrong category for this thing. I don't know. If you play Call of Duty, you can call me out. It's fine. People are doing things, man, to keep the games updated. Speaking of updates, Dauntless developer, went kind of under this week, as far as I know. They might have let go a lot of people, but I think they went under. I can double check that. This is a news podcast. I really should be more informed, right? The point is that there was an article here. It says, Dauntless Hail Mary, how the Awakening update killed off Monster Hunter like Dauntless and maybe even Phoenix Labs. So the game was big on Epic Store. Okay. They got lots of users. Where was the figure of how many they got? Over 15 million people at one point after leaving its open beta in 2019. And then they eventually went over to Steam, but they cut a lot of content. So not only did they cut some islands from the game, but they deleted progression. And so a lot of people left, and if one of my favorite games of the last couple of years right now, Street Fighter for sure, but Path of Exile too, and it's still in early access. But if they deleted my character without letting me know in advance, I'd be done. I'm not one of those people that comes in and out of these things and plays every season and makes new characters. For me, it's one and done. And it's just astonishing to see a game company pull a move like that and the game die overnight. I'm sure there were reasons that they had to do that. Hopefully, like technical ones, and they had no choice. But if it was a willful choice, oh, Nelly. You know what? Since I'm friends with lots of people on LinkedIn and have connections to places, if anyone listening right now has the real story on what happened, come on this podcast. We'll do a little interview. We'll sit down and we'll chit chat. You can tell the truth. I can even do a voice distortion thing for you. We have the technology. We can do that. All right. So here's another bit of news. A little sad. Capcom's operating income drops 38%, but Monster Hunter series hits 100 million in sales. It says digital contents have contributed 189.9 million out of 201.3 million operating income this year. But it says it marked a 28.1% decline in digital content net sales year on year and a 38.2% decline in the segment's operating income. But it said 94% of its total operating income of the year thus far has come from its video games. Meanwhile, its arcade, amusement, and other businesses' efforts collectively contributed just 6% of operating income. It says Monster Hunter has now made over $250 million to date. And so there's lots of stuff going over there. I wonder what they'll do in response. They got the new Monster Hunter game coming out, so that's gonna do real good there for them. Real good there. Look at that. I said the brand name. I said our brand name. Now let's go into... Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask this question. My notes are all every which way. This was on Reddit, and I kind of wanted to pose it to you, dear reader. So we got a little bit of the news, right? We talked a little bit about things, the state of things. What game have you played wanting to relive the glory days only to realize that it's just not the same anymore? Some of the answers here are like GoldenEye, and some people said Unreal Tournament 2004. For me, it's WoW. It's World of Warcraft. It'll never be the same, right? But one game I have been playing a lot with my father-in-law, one of my father-in-laws, Tech Mobile, holds up so well. I mean, balance isn't there, but it's so much fun. So every time I go back to Colorado, we play, and I usually win. And you got to assert dominance, as the gamer. He's the sports guy. I'm the gamer. I just gotta show what's up. If you're listening, as love ya. Okay, some bad news. I want to kind of go quickly through the news. We're at almost the 15-minute mark. I want to end this pretty quick. Ubisoft cut 185 jobs in a bid to prioritize projects and reduce costs. I really wanted to bring that up just because I saw a lot of people happy that they're suffering, and I just wanted to bring attention to these are good people working at jobs. Even if you hate the company, please refrain from that a little bit. It's hard. Layoffs are very, very hard for this industry, and we're currently seeing a really dark time. So lay off, man. Okay, just chill a little bit. I don't want to go into this one because it's going to get political, and it's a really small article. It's like 3 sentences, but it says EU proposes ban on video game sales to Russia and new sanctions. So that's happening. It says video game controllers, gaming controllers, flight simulator controllers, game pads, joysticks, and other input units for video game consoles or entertainment systems, either corded or cordless, should be restricted, the proposal said. So that might happen. I worked with some coaches for esports titles that were in Russia when the war in the Ukraine started, and we had to stop working with them immediately. And it was just, it was sad. It was really sad. There's a lot of people over there who don't deserve what is happening to them. And now let's get into the weird a little bit. And I didn't really want to talk about this thing. I just kind of wanted to talk about how the mainstream media, quote unquote, don't worry, I'm not one of those types, is reporting on this, because it's always fun to see the mainstream media reporting on the video game industry and what narrative they take. And the New York Times had a headline that says, Elon Musk, video game king? Well, maybe not. The Washington Post said, does Elon Musk cheat at video games? An investigation. If you go on YouTube and search Elon Musk cheating, influencers and a lot of really good investigative journalists, I would say, that are on YouTube have unequivocally agreed and with the receipts that he has cheated. So, I just look for more. Just say that. You don't have to dance around the subject these days. There's evidence he cheated. He admitted he cheated. And I think these articles actually came out after he admitted that. So I don't know. Just be honest about this stuff. Tell the truth like it is. Be more blunt. Be more blunt about these things. Oh yeah, Washington Post. All right, so cute and cuddly criminals. Researcher explores problematic themes in Animal Crossing video game. I thought this was really funny. It says, when the video game Animal Crossing New Horizons debuted in 2020, it seemed like the timing was perfect. Lots of people were stuck at home, and the game itself seemed to have a calming effect, with cute and at least digitally cuddly animals as the main character. But for Ryan Binkley, who got his master's degree from Northern Arizona University this past spring, the game is actually much more than a way to pass the time. Binkley wrote his thesis was based on the game. It's called, I said it, Cute and Cuddly Criminals, Colonialism, Consumerism, and the Mass Ornament in Animal Crossing New Horizon. And as you may guess from the title, it takes a critical view of the game. So you can go out and search for this article. Clearly doing it for attention. I don't want to get into it too much. You let me know what you think about that one. It's just, there's a lot of things to talk about and think about in the world today. If you want to have fun with something like that, go for it. If you want to be a bit more serious, just keep 60 feet away from me, okay? This is a weird bit of news. It says fans go wild as world's best-selling video game adds Highland cows. Now, what do you think is the world's best-selling video game, huh? What game could possibly add Highland cows that is causing people to say things like, Highland cow, my beloved, in all caps, and Highland, cool, let's go. It says, woolly cow, Mojang, my heart is yours. And people are hoping that it also has more meat. Yeah, I gave it away. It's in Minecraft. They have Highland cows now. It's a big deal. Apparently people have been asking for a long time. People are saying, finally. Gamers are awesome. That's all I got. That's super cool. Okay, Sony to offer bonus in-game rewards on PC ports of PlayStation games. So let me summarize this really quick. PC ports really required a PSN login, and in many places, people around the world were unable to play the games that they wanted to play because of that hurdle that they had to go over. You know, some people say that it was blown out of proportion. Some people say that was justified, but there was a lot of ire in the world about this. And it was a big topic for people that, like, you know, they wanted to shit on Sony. So they had this thing that they could always point to. That's not there anymore. They removed that. But if you do sign up, you get rewards in the game. So I think that's a fair trade-off, you know. I usually do those things because I love cosmetics. I'm a sucker for them. But if you don't want to opt in, you know, there you go. Like, everybody should be able to play games offline. Everybody should be able to sell what they own. Gamers need to fight for more of these rights. So I wasn't part of your journey, everybody, but good for you. Really good for you for getting that one. Also, some good news. The Video Game History Museum launches VGHF Digital Library. So this, you can go on and you can go and check out old magazines and look through them. It's fantastic. I've been a subscriber to them. If you actually pay them money, they will send you a magazine every month from the 1980s, 90s, 2000s, video game magazine like EGM, PC Gamer, whatever it may be. And I have a huge stack of these, and I don't know why I kept getting fighting game ones. And I asked my buddy over there, Frank, if he was doing that intentional, and he said no. So shout out to Frank Cifaldi for always kicking ass at the Video Game History Foundation. Go support them. In other good news, Kickboxer video game announced based on Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. It's the first game from a new studio, from like ex-Halo people and other places. Great. You know, my hope isn't, I usually don't have a whole lot of hope for a licensed game from an 80s property, but the RoboCop game, which I'm playing through right now, is actually a lot of fun. They really simplified it. They knew what they had to achieve with their budget, and it's a great little fun experience. So fingers crossed that this one will turn out good, because everybody, you know, we all want to do the dance that he does when he has all that, was it soju or rum or vodka, whatever it may be. We want to do that dance in the game. Make it a VR title where we have to master that before we can make that level where we have to shake our hips just like him as hard as the training level or the tutorial level of Driver on PlayStation 1. That would be the best, right? Okay. That's for like 4 people that got that reference that ever listened to this. Here's one. Here's a great bit of news. The Twitch streamer using face recognition to make video games more accessible. It says the sub-headline is, for years, the Twitch streamer Valentin Squirrelo has been seeking new ways players with disabilities can enjoy games without expensive hardware. Now, he and his community of fans have invented a solution. This is cool. It says, I'll just read the article. Just to give it the respect it deserves. 2 years ago, developer Valentin Squirrelo went on a mission. With Twitch fans at his side, he and his viewers began work on a face recognition program that allows disabled individuals to control game inputs through their expressions. For Squirrelo and his community, the program, dubbed Playability, was the answer to limitations of accessible hardware. It says, "We are huge believers of connecting everything together," Squirrelo says. "We have created Playability not to replace everything, but to connect with everything. So that's why we choose to focus on face gestures, being able to move analog triggers, analog sticks, stuff that you really can't do with other software." And the article goes into that, you know, Xbox developed this adaptive controller and all that. And go read the article. It's wonderful. This is why we play. This is why play is such a wonderful thing, and this is why we need to listen to these people and make sure that make them feel as inclusive to this hobby as anyone who is physically able. My dad suffered a stroke years ago, and he is wheelchair bound, and he has lost the use of his left side. But thanks to driving games and you know, the pedal on the right side and then the steering wheel, he can play games. And so he has that opportunity to do that. My wife is legally blind and literally cannot play a lot of games because they do not have accessibility for her. I gotta say, any designer who puts necessary information in the 4 quadrants of a screen, you know, if your character's in the middle and it's a third-person game, and then all the information people need, they have to look in the bottom left, bottom right, upper left. Terrible idea. People with low vision cannot do that. Stop doing that, please. And it's just, why would I want to look in the corner of the screen when I'm playing a game? I want to look forward, right? Don't make me look at a menu. There's this other article I saw said, Could adding smells to video game players a boost? And I didn't want to go into this about the technology, all that stuff, because it seems like every other year we go through a smell-o-vision phase, and it almost seems like a con. People have been doing it for years, like decades. It's not going to catch on. No one wants that. I don't want to smell burnt rubber while I'm sitting at home. It's just, I don't know. It's a little weird to me. Okay, but you know what? If people want it, the option's cool, right? Cool. If you want that experience, if I was a millionaire, sure. I'd have my gaming immersion room with smell-o-vision for the racing game that kicks up burnt rubber smell. Why not? Can you do ocean air when I go to the ocean? Cool. I'm not in that tax bracket, though. Nope. Maybe if this gets big, I can be. With your help, I will sign a $100 million Spotify deal. Everybody, thank you. Now, this one, I'm going to try not to tear up when I talk about it. But this was the biggest bit of news I wanted to share this week, and I put it at the end. It says, revolutionary video game identifies autism with 80% accuracy. A new video game accurately diagnoses autism in 1 minute, offering a low-cost, fast alternative to traditional methods. This is a hard one for me to talk about, just because there are so many people that this is affected by autism, and or that have autism, and this is like one of the two paths for this gaming industry that I really get excited about. One is entertaining everybody. I'm going to tear up. Entertaining everybody with meaningful products that add to their lives or just help them escape, right? Not every game needs to be Call of Duty and escapism. Not everything needs to be a heady Disco Elysium, right? Everybody has different things. The way I like to think about the video game industry is that it's like a bar. And some of you might be laughing at that I made that metaphor, but I can go to the bar, you can go to the bar, and whatever your reason for it is, sense of community. You might be sad and depressed. You might want to be alone. You might want a sense of community to find when you get there. Whatever your reason may be, we're all welcome at this bar. And everybody knows our name. And there's a lot of products on the shelves. If you're sad, you can play this game. And then if I'm looking for a community, I can also play that game, maybe. So we come in to this place, this video game industry, with different intentions and different wants and needs, but we are all welcome, right? And we all partake in things differently and all that. And sometimes we crisscross and we meet and we converse and we connect. Not always, but sometimes. Just like at a bar, right? Sometimes you get into a random conversation with people, and sometimes you have good relationships moving out of that. But there's a golden rule to really any bar, right? I don't care. I've been to bars all over the world, and it seems like there's always one thing that is, don't get into other people's space. And if you do it kindly, but don't do it with any kind of aggression. Everybody is going to do their own thing. I love when I can go into a bar and I can hear people talking about politics seriously on one side. On the other side, there's a group of people that clearly know each other for a long time. And in another spot, there's a first date that seems to be going well, or maybe it's a disaster or something like that. But I love that we all have this space. And I kind of see that as the gaming industry. And it's lovely that we have that. And I really get frustrated by people that tell other people in this industry what they can and can't play, or how they interact with it. And one community might be yelling at another community because they're not playing the right way or anything like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Inclusivity makes us stronger. Our diversity makes us stronger. So be good to one another. To finish up this story I was talking about, the other side of the industry, though, is the side that ultimately benefits humanity. had another hiccup there. Sorry, everyone. Like I was saying, the other side of the industry that I really enjoy is the part that benefits humanity. That's almost like giving back to gamers, to society, to humanity in general. And for the act of play in video games, for us to find, or diagnose autism with an 80% accuracy, that's fantastic. Obviously, this is in the early stages of this types of things, but I think through video games, we're going to reveal a lot about ourselves and we're going to grow. And so we've only still dipped our toe into this interaction of play and making humanity better. But I just wanted to end this podcast and say that's ultimately what my motivations here are. It's not to get famous. It's not anything like that. I just needed to talk more about this with you. There was a quote that was like of David Lynch, and I'm really going to paraphrase here, but he's like, when I first started doing art, I was really bad at it, but through the process of doing, I figured out, kind of who I was and what my art was all about. And that's what this is all about, this first episode. So anyway, thank you very much for listening, everybody. I promise that the future episodes are not going to be as long. I'm trying to stick them somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, but if you stuck along this whole way, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to doing this every week with you. A quick shout out to my Twitch channel and YouTube, at Real Good there. That's our new brand for everything. I'm going to be streaming a lot in the coming weeks and months. I'm really happy to start doing this on my personal side. So thank you everybody for listening. I'm Kyle Stolick, your host, and this has been Endgame Recap. Thank you very much.